From one high-speed track to another, there's no place like Las Vegas, and it's time once again for what is hopefully gonna be another thrilling race for this season's NSA Pro Split, and we have race 12 for you lined up today. My name is Herman the German, and I've once again brought a tasty little meal to this well-served dish, and I hope it's gonna be to your liking, because I have another high-speed track in store for you today. It's another one in this fabulous season. We are heading to the end of this season though, with only 3 remaining races after this one, including 2 more street circuits in Azerbaijan, in Baku, as well as in Singapore, before we head out to Brazil to finish off the season. There's been a change to the driver lineup, and at Haas we now have Frankie, who's joining Supermax after Hardcore left 2 races ago. Yeah, there was no second Haas for Monza, and now we have a decent driver, maybe even fast enough to be in the top 5 if he can manage his ERS. So let's see what he has in store for us. And after one hell of a race and taking the first win in this league, Moksha will not be able to race any of the remaining races, which is quite unfortunate and a bit sad. But we will have to see what Jack can do. And we have a new reserve as well from Croatia. His name is Sacco, and he will be joining us, if I'm correct, for tonight's Vegas Grand Prix. And you can see its track map right in front of you. It's one of the shortest, if not the shortest run to turn 1. I think you were not even at 150 kph before you kind of are already in a braking zone. And there's a bend inside of that grid lineup, and the first 10 cars are lined up in a straight. After that, they are not anymore. And yeah, very short run. Also, not the typical main straight you would expect to see. The main straight here is the Vegas Strip, one of the 2 DRS zones. The first one is right after turn 4, before you head into the second sector and the area where the sphere is. That's on the outside of turn 8. And yeah, one hell of a play server race, and has been just added recently last year to the Formula 1 circus. It's gonna be a Saturday race for this year, so let's see what happens. And the DRS straight has been shortened. Yeah, the DRS detection zone was, I think, in front of turn 12, and even before or just after the third sector started, you could also already activate the DRS. So that was very overpowered, because yeah, it was quite easy to get a 8 or 9/10 advantage over the car ahead, and even pass them before heading for the braking zone for the chicane after that. And that's going to be the track for today. And we are going to move on to the result of last race. Hang on. This hasn't been updated here. This one is the correct one. And it was the Italian Grand Prix at Monza, and Moksha took his maiden win in a very decisive fight against Bosnian Helmet. But you have to say that Bosnian's pace over was better, almost a second faster on his best lap as well, compared to the Williams driver, but he had a 10-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane, and he almost, as you can see there, made that time up. Moksha wasn't really able to be with him after the pit stop phases because when Moksha returned, he didn't feel as comfortable as on the first stint, and he was there and thereabout with Bosnian as they were battling each other for the lead on the first stint. Andy took a third place after Fellison was demoted again because of penalties. He had a fight throughout the remainder of the race with Pleasant Snake as well. He finished in 5th, had a good qualifying as well. And then Critical Damage, who, as we learned in the interviews after the race last time, had a red rear wing, which obviously means a lot of high speed, but no downforce on the exits of corners or general stability when turning in. Somehow backed the fastest lap. I have no idea how someone can do that, especially without going onto a faster tire. Rijad finished in 7th, Gacha 8th on his return. A poorer result for Jack and a point as well for Mercedes. With Kovacs and both of the McLarens, P11 and 12, not their best race. Crank York 13th, John Meister only 14th once again. And there was Slayer in 15, the first guy not to finish. And we had Chaza, Supermax, as well as Gian Pai, second race in a row, where the home favorite did not finish the race. And then we had Kismukus retiring early in the race as well. The championship is almost sealed basically. So if Critical can extend to more than 75 points, so more than 11 over Andy Andre, he's gonna have it in the bag. And obviously some big moves up the order for Moksha, but he will stay at those 87 points. And before we head into the session one, and the biggest thing right now is the Constructors World Championship. Moksha is not here anymore, so that means Williams have the work cut out for them. Racing Bull is still with an opportunity. 40 points isn't unthinkable, but they need both drivers to score big time now. And 4th is Mercedes, 4 points ahead of Aston Martin. There are 7 points of Red Bull. And Alpine is in nowhere, in no man's land, and there's Sauber battling it out for the Red Lantern versus McLaren and Haas. They've been on 11 points for some races now, and you can see that McLaren scored some in 3 of the 4 last races, so that is always a good sign. Let's head into the session. We are underway for the 18-minute qualifying as per usual in this league. I'm just gonna put tires up here as well because we can. Let's check who is here. You can see that Control is once again here for V-Carb. There is his teammate Pleasant Snake exiting the pits. Katja is once again a reserve driver, and he's with Alpine for tonight. Bosnian Helmet has been the sole remaining full-time driver for Alpine for some time now. Chaza is here. Chaza is here once again for Aston Martin. Crank York is in the Kick Sauber as per usual. I was told Sacco is gonna join him for today. And Jack is here as well. Very important that he's here today. Before we started into the session, there was even a question mark if he was here. Then the McLaren pairing of Nocebo and Guy Repke. Guy Repke is also at the end of his first attempt on the medium tires. And he's about to close out first sector. Frankie on his debut, I think, for this season, yeah, but he has been racing for this league, I think, some time ago. If I remember correctly, for some of my researchers, critical once again here for Ferrari. No Kismakus, there's Fellersen once again. The only really scoring Red Bull that is gonna have some trouble to win the championship if it stays like this. Control takes the top of the timing sheets with this current 131.4, as we see Andy Andre about to head into the third sector. Supermax is also on a flyer right now with Haas once again, and then there's Kovatska as Guy Röpke just pits from his lap time. Let's see who's next across the line. That's Frankie, goes into second for now, as he has been beat by Katja, who was roughly 2 tenths behind the current pole position holder. And next to cross the line is No Sibo. Ploy was used very early on the straight, so a bit of time lost there for him in the final sector. 33.3. Still some space for that, and Crankyard goes also to 33.3. And he has abandoned his lap. As we see now, his teammate Kovatska heading to 5th position on a 33.6. And next across the line looks to be Pleasant Snake. Goes to a 33.4 on his tire. And next across the line was Jack, and he is on a 32.4. Jesus Christ. Numbers. And Fellersen is next across the line. Still hot on his heels in terms of ES charge, and he goes to 33.0. That's a good first attempt. Bosnian is still on an out lap. There's Frankie going slow. I think someone just left the session. Next is Charles, I think. Invalid. Did anyone do a second attempt? Let's see with Control, he's still out there. I assume there's gonna be a plain old boring medium hard strategy here in the 2023 game. This track was very low in grip, especially Sector 1. And I can tell you that I scored a podium there with a soft, medium soft strategy. Although that was interrupted by two laps because of a red flag and some safety car laps, but generally the play or the strategy to do. And I think that was still the best shot you could do there, because the Haas were just not fast and they were also dying fast enough. They could do 18 laps, but they were just not worth the risk. Control has improved his provisional pole position time by half a second, as he's now extended the gap to 7 tenths over Katja. And that is now a Hungarian 1-2-3. As we see Bosnian heading into the final chicane before putting the pedal to the metal and this fast left-hander on the final part of the track, and he goes to P2, just a couple of hundreds behind the current pole position holder of Control. But you can see that Critical is still on a lap, was maybe a bit distracted by how the Haas was driving there in turn 12. Kovacs over the line now. Very interesting ES management, I have to say. 32.9 is his time now. Next to cross the line is Guy Rupke, and briefly followed after that is going to be critical damage. Let's see what the inbound world champion has to offer in terms of time. And he goes to a 31.063. It's just 14 hundredths of a second. 14 thousandths of a second in front of his next rival in Bosnian. And roughly... And roughly 1.5 tenths behind pole position. Supermax is then on outlap. Guy Rupke went into P7. As Chaza as well as Supermax are still without a time. And the Andre has jumped into P5 on a 31.7. Kacha is on a lap, but he has just passed the sphere, so the sphere. Sorry, sometimes you hear or say a word and you just think like, that sounds so odd. Supermax over the line, can he beat anyone? No, he cannot. 37.9, still far off, and now he spins for good measure after locking the brakes into turn 1. Oh, sound. I'm gonna turn up the game sound a bit here. See if it's fucked again. For later. Has anyone improved here? Kacha by a 10th apparently. What about Chaza? Just started his lap. So there's Pleasant Snake, there's Jack. A lot of ES charge still, so maybe that's the second outlap. That's way too much ES usage on the straight. Especially in 8th gear. Let's see what this different strategy in ES management does for him in terms of lap time, and it's an improvement by roughly 2.5 tenths, still in the 32.1s, so over a second behind pole position. Chaza next, and that's a Haas without a front wing. Over the line goes the car with the 21. P7 on a 32.0. Beats Guy Rupke and Jack by just a tiny bit. Kacha into the pit lane, 5 minutes 15 to go. Pleasant also aborting his lap. Who's next to cross the line there? That was Kovacs, and he's racing Guy Rupke. And Fellison has retired in the pit lane. Either he wants to save a set, or thought to himself, no way I'm gonna get a second faster. And Quincy has joined. You sure you want to do this? Let me see. Maybe you thought I was in a practice session for Baku. 4 minutes to go. Still possible for him to take a car, obviously. Guy Rapke next to cross the line. What about control is invalidated this time? Who were we watching? Sorry. This guy. Yeah, that's also pit lane entry for the first V Cup, as all of the other cars head out for their final attempts. Frankie, the disconnect. And Guy Rapke is now on a 31.7, that's 4 tenths faster. Let me see if I can get Frankie back. I think I have him. Apparently not. And there's no Sibo next, but his time is invalid. Bosnian looks like an outlap. That is an outlap. That is a second outlap. That's also an outlap. Yeah, so we are basically waiting for everyone to rejoin the track. 2 minutes 50 to go. It's one of the longest laps on the F1 calendar. It's 6 point something kilometers long. Track time probably around 55 minutes for race. Obviously high percentage of throttle throughout the lap. That's the you need to calculate with 2 minutes at least for one final outlap here, and that 2 minute mark has been reached now. Kovaska just starting a lap. GR decided that it is enough. There's nothing more in this. Osibo's just a tiny bit faster. Quincy has retired. Has taken a Red Bull. Don't be irritated by the fact that there's a second control now. Osibo stays on a 33.3. And the rest is outlaps. But let's go on board with the team that has the newest winner in this league. And this is now Jack's on board of a hot lap here. Everyone behind is, if I'm not mistaken, on outlaps anyway. Can we check that? Control is the next car to be close. Into the sphere section now, turn 7, turn 8. Don't run too much curb there. Don't let the car drift wide here on the exit. If your car has little to no turn in, then you're gonna struggle there. A lot of understeer becoming your worst enemy. Very difficult braking, but a very nice corner if you hit it correctly. That was tiny bit away from optimal, and currently he is still holding his charge for apparently this part of the track. Yeah, not the best strategy, to be honest with you. Derating is countered by hot laps, and you just have an infinite amount of a harder time inside the braking zone. And now the ploy is also used, so that's barely anything, and he does not improve. Kovacs is through, Bosnian is through, did not improve. Control is through, did not improve. Critic is on a final attempt. And he does not improve. Control in front of Katja. Let's see. Nothing there for them two. Next to cross the line is Pleasant Snake. Third and Monza. What can he do here? Goes to P10 only. Chaza stays 8th. And now only critical damage once again as an answer. Was the only one remaining to have an answer to Control's provisional pole position time. And as expected, he does so. He improves to a 30.626, and that is now the pole position time for this track. And he has set himself up for clinching the World Drivers' Championship with this race win today. If he outscores Andy by 11 points or more, which would translate into him being first and Andy only being 5th at max, he will be crowned back-to-back world champion and has a good chance of clinching that Constructors World Championship trophy as well. V-Cup are in an interesting position, but they need to make some ground up. Obviously, the reserve here is not going to help, and Red Bull and the others can just stand in the way. And McLaren is high up the field, so it's going to be interesting. Control second, Bosnian, then Katja, Andy, GR, Feddersen, and then the Brits. Chaza, Jack, Pleasant Snake, Kovacs, Crank York, No Seabuff, Frankie, Supermax, and Quincy, who will be joining us for the race only, but should also be an interesting addition to this grid. He is also on the reserve driver roster, so I'm interested to see what his capabilities are. He has raced Vegas a multitude of times, but we had to a quick break, and we will be back for when the race starts. We are back for the formation lap and the start of the race, and as you can see, hard tires for Pleasant Snake and Super Max. As the cars now line up for the start of this race. And we go to 5 red lights for what could be the final race of the championship. And there's a good start for critical damage, as Bosnian is already close to the V-Cup driver. Control is losing a bit there, but Guy Rapke had a rapid start. He's up into 4th position. Control loses out. Crankok and Frankie in the back having a tussle. They've lost out 15 and 16 respectively. Andy Andre is looking to be ahead of Fellison before they head into the braking zone for turn 5, sorry. And now there's a bit of a locking the front tires up sequence of corners coming right out. And now the first tricky bit is completed, as there's Supermax spinning on them hard tires. Probably hit the curb on the inside and spun, which obviously gonna cost him huge time. Bosnian is already into 1st position, as he now has overtaken Critical just because of the slipstream. And there's now Chaza on the inside of Guy Rapke. He gets ghosted for a moment, as way too many cars try to make a sequence of corners you want to barely race side by side. And now there's Guy Rapke into the pit lane. Huge start, but then loses out here. Multiple cars squirming for position. There's Kovetska already up into 8th position, battling with Williams of Jack, who is also front wing damage. And Supermax has now retired, and there's a safety car. Now there's a safety car, and everyone can repair the damage. And Bosnian is ahead of Critical, which is very important. Who has damage as well? None of these drivers. Jack. Jack certainly has, and Fellison and GR already repaired it. Thank you very much, Sweda, for following. Hope you're enjoying this. For fuck's sake. GR forget to set front wing repairs to yes. Or he has already fucked it on the outlap. And let's see how your mate Control can do today. Chaza and Jack are pitting as well. No C-Boys as well. So Trangyok is now into 9th. So depending on how much and how long Garrett calls it a day. Oh, there's a safety car. Just put the hearts from the beginning, or is your car this damaged? Don't think that's a good sign in terms of the mental approach about races. Yeah, some say it's only a game. But that race was far from over. Anyway, his decision. Honestly, if the tires can go to full distance with a solid decline in terms of wear, then the medium runners are not gonna like the safety car a whole bunch. Because honestly, their best phase is currently being shifted by that you kind of don't lose fuel at the moment, like you save a lot. So the car is technically not getting faster, and obviously the tires are being cold, so you turn down their grip and make it a lot trickier. What is happening here now? Another front wing damage, or not changed this time. And critical and controller changing position. The worst thing is that he was already on the hards. And the safety car is definitely coming in at the end of this lap, as the whole pit crew floats in the air like fucking gigajets. Yeah, Jack is gonna have good tires at the restart, but I doubt maybe he can go to second medium, because he had the hards on. So this might be his quali medium, and it was on the fresh medium from the race. So he can go back to that 1 lap old medium tire later. That is technically a very fast approach to this race now, but he has some work to do. And the air strains are gonna form up quite quickly. I hate how the camera does not swing so we could see the sphere, but anyway. Yeah, so the medium tires might be going through the best phase of their grip levels right now behind the safety car, despite the car being the heaviest still, so not gonna be that great, I feel. Yeah, it position was Quincy, kept his head out of everything. Gobert's got a mega start up to P6 already, Frankie also up 4, and obviously GR and Fellison with the biggest losses, but nothing is settled as of right now, and we have a safety car restart at the end of a lap 4. Bernd Meilander has been called in. As we see some beautiful shots and animations from the drivers. In the reward, we look at the telemetry at the bottom of your screen to see when the green bar is fully filled, and that is the case now, and this means Bosnian has fired up and has opened the door for an opportunity for critical damage on the first time of asking. Now the outside of turn 4 turns to the inside, and now there's Bosnian back into first position, and Andy Andre is gonna be soon on this. Don't be irritated by the sign at the top that says we still have safety car. I can't see shit. And Control has to watch how Critical has taken the lead. And now Bosnian has gained it back with a switchback and a better exit out of turn 5. And these two have swapped places within a sector and 2 extra corners. Kacha and Kovatska here. Is there another opportunity for the Ferrari? But there... Oh, there's damage. Control! He hit! He hit the back of the Ferrari and there's another safety car! There's another safety car! Huge accident for Control! Oh, it's only a virtual one. What? Yeah. Cody's. Rear end collision for Control after hitting the back of critical damage and the car just went around. And someone in the back hit him. Someone hit him in the back. Is that Andy? What the fuck is going on here? Damage for Andy. And now people are starting to realize that the hearts from now on might be the best shot. But that was illegal by at least 2 of the drivers. And now if Pleasant Snake is in a prime position to win this fucking thing, because if his tires can last, it's gonna be fun. No Sibo pits in critical, as well as Bosnian have decided to come in, but that was anything from gentleman-like, from critical, if I've seen that correctly. And there's a drive-through penalty for speeding under the BSC for Bosnian. And he cannot believe his luck. Kacha is now leading Kovaska, who's leading Pleasant Snake, and fucking Quincy Forte. You are the man in 4th position. This is some Max Verstappen impression when starting from the back. Krankjorg, then Frankie, both of the Dutch drivers behind. And Bosnian has retired! Bosnian has retired! On track, there's another incident! Let's see what happened here to Bosnian. Frankie is out as well! There's a 10-second time penalty. He spun here. What is going on here? What the fuck? And there's now full course safety car. The car here has already been removed. Then we switched. We switched to the next car that was still going ahead for the incident with Bosnian. No idea if that was a rage quit or not. But the second I turned away, there was a crash at the back. Now there's another full course safety car. And everyone who was still on mediums gonna benefit from that now. And Jack is technically back into this race as well. If he goes back to the hards, he does. A bit of a decent stop, okay. What the fuck was that? Drive-through penalty and immediately followed by let's spin around. And Pleasant Lake is not gonna like this because he now... I should... well... mediums don't go 18 laps, I fear. Let's say it. The thing is, if my information is correct, there's a total of 3 safety cars per race, including VSCs. So we just had 3 safety cars by lap 7. So no matter what Pleasant does now, he cannot just pit to another tire, pit back to the hards because he's gonna lose every position. But he does not have to fear another safety car. Obviously red flag can still happen. If he goes to mediums now, they're gonna be too worn. But he has to pit soon after the safety car anyway, I think. The tires will not last with a significant amount of pace left, and therefore tricky. Feddersen thinks something different. Maybe goes to a split strategy on 9 and 9 laps of mediums. No idea. And Jack is obviously back on those hard tires he had on for 1 lap under the first safety car. As the back of the pack has not yet caught up to the grid. And now things are going to get really spicy. But unfortunately, I think still in the favor of Critical. I really want Annie to be scoring big here, maybe second even. But that currently is preserved for Katja, then Kovacic, Quincy, and then Andy first, so... Perfect execution by these people inside P5, P4 and P6 so far. The safety car will come in at the end of this lap. And then Pleasant Snake will lead them away. He is currently even, still after 2 safety cars in a VSC, underfueled in terms of his car. And maybe he should have set it to Liam, because I think maybe it's 3 safety cars, maybe it's 5 in total. Which means obviously 2 safety cars, plenty of time to get more fuel saving done. Yeah, that's still gonna be a hard task. As Bernd is called into the pit lane. And the Norwegian is leading them away. Currently slowing the field down. And he has pulled the trigger. And we are racing under green flag once again here. Not had plenty of laps of this. Most of these laps were under yellow flags as Andy now sweeps around the outside for turn 4 to overtake Quincy, who is looking strong, but still needs to try and hold on to this position. Fellison into 9th, with the only guy being on the medium. He's the only guy on the medium. Snake is obviously gonna try and get away soon, if he can. Let's look at the back here. Jack, Fellison, very close together after the exit of the sphere section. And now, please, no rear end collision again on this turn. There's the head for the strip. And Andy has dispatched his teammate. Is there a chance for Chaza? No, but Jack is trying an overtake on the inside of Quincy, but that didn't really work, and now they've lost time ahead. And Fellison overtakes for P8, and that's gonna hurt Jack a bit. He needs to be up the field by some positions to score big. And now this field has lost the cars ahead. Critical is trying to overtake Chaza on the inside of 5. Atrocious camera angle, but you can see that Chaza is still ahead. I'm going into turn number 7. And Andy Andre is trying to be as close as he can trying to be in that shadow of Critical, making sure he is there on there about to be not left out on his championship. Singapore was the third last race last season where he clinched the title. It's again another street circuit, but Andy needs to do some work if he wants to have it decided by Singapore, because we still have Baku in between. Fellas and Quincy have spot positions. Jack has no opportunity here to make a move, and Katja somehow gets a warning on the outside of the chicane, and that is turn 15, as the front two have switched, and Pleasant Snake as well as Critical are staying behind them. Now Fellison, oh, as an oversteer moment. Once again, don't be irritated. Safety car sign is up until there is another flag caused by someone. That's most of the time a yellow one. Oh, that's a slow moment for Kovacs, where Fellison also needed to brake. And then Jack is very close. Very, very close. Oh, Katja spun! Katja has spun at the exit of 8. And now Andy is directly behind Critical, despite him being now outside of the DRS zone, and his teammate is giving him some cover. Mercedes need these points, and with only 11 drivers remaining, and 2 of them being slower than Kovacs based on this current season, they need him to score at least 2. And he's currently achieving that. Top 3 are unchanged. Is there a move here for Fellison? Very late in terms of positioning. Critical now. Up into second after passing Pleasant Snake. And Fellison now is taking Kovacs before the line. A lot of slipstreaming out of turn 16 before ending the lap with the slight bend of 17, where Katja's now heading to. No damage, by the way. Only Tenant. Andy is closing in, bringing Fellison. And there were Kovacs as well as Jack with him, but Quincy currently dropping out of the DRS zone. He needs to find some pace. Make sure he stays there. Now Pleasant Snake has lost the DRS to the car in front, and his tires already seem to be not working anymore. I forgot, yeah, you still needed to make a stop. But he's gonna lose out big time. If he gets passed by Andy and Fellison here in a couple of laps, he should pit. Don't know how much the mediums can do in terms of lap time and tire life, so yeah, we have to wait and see what the verdict of Pleasant Snake is for this pit stop. And now Chaza has been overtaken by Critical, who is gunning for the 3rd podium of the season for Aston Martin, being second in 2 races, including Belgium, after a shootout with 4th place Andy Andre. Critical now takes the fastest lap of the race, and there's more position changing as Jack now has overtaken Kovacs' car, but that is leaving him vulnerable for the Mercedes to re-overtake. He has turned down the AS mode and isn't looking like he wants to have a go at him, and Pleasant Snake has lost 2 seconds additionally, and now slides into the turn. What a nice drift, nice catch of the car, and Fellison and Andy Andre are trying to make mincemeat off of him very soon, and on the straight he will be 3rd no more. Don't think Chaza is in a prime position to do anything about the lead for critical damage, and now we will see from the rear view of the V-Carb. Beautiful all-in sign here. What is this DRS section that has been resized enough for 2 cars to pass? No, it is not anymore, no longer the case. And Pleasant Snake still stays out. And currently he would fall right back to P11. Obviously would have the best tires and opportunities to make round up. But you have to say 4th and a DNF is not gonna be enough for V-Carb. Williams is not scoring big. And V-Carb still need to pit their driver as Kovacs and Jack are battling, and Jack is now up into 6th position, putting a car between him and Fallison. So if he can keep this up, that would be great, and he will automatically be promoted to 5th place after Snake's pit stop. He is currently 3.1 seconds behind Fallison, who is on medium tires. That's going to be 18 laps old at the end, so he could also be gunning for that 4th spot at the end. And Gacha, the only driver with a 3-second time penalty. Is there change here now? The top 2 stay the same. Jack is under pressure from Korvetska and he's been repassed. And there is now Krankjok battling it with Nocebo. I forgot which nationality Nocebo was. I think Turkey. So yeah, Netherlands against Turkey. Very good football match. Was that at the Euros? Yeah. Turkey went up 1-0 and then the Dutch turned it around to 2-1. And now Fallison has overtaken Pleasant Snake, who needs to pit soon. 10 laps should be enough. I hope he doesn't think the softs are the best, because he's dropping massive. He should have pitted already on this lap. And there's now a wide moment for Andy into turn 7. It feels like my sound is fucking it up again. P3 is now more open than before, and Chaza seems to be holding on quite well despite his tires being 3 laps older. Another debut winner for this season, another difference winner in this season would obviously spare the light for this league. What are the ERS levels? That's a 40% advantage for the green car. Pleasant Snake has not pitted, and he is gonna be losing more and more time, obviously inside that DRS window. But you have to think about how much time you actually lose compared to the rest behind. Despite you not losing so much on the straights, your overall lap time could be going down. Jack has once again overtaken Kovatska before they reached the first DRS, and I know Fallison is putting pressure onto Andy Andre. Mercedes have a good opportunity to score big here today, but they are far down compared to Williams and Aston Martin. So they want to be looking at trying not to take too many points away. Quincy is inside that DRS window here for Kovatskin. Now Chaza has taken the lead away from critical damage. And there might be swap here as well. Andy Andre is on the outside. Fellison was on the inside, but there isn't enough space. Enough track left before braking. And you can see one Mercedes is defending from a Red Bull 4. Oh, never mind. As Kovaska has now spun himself at the exit of turn 16. Probably because he hit the curb too hard in 15. Yeah, so there was a Mercedes defending from a Red Bull. But then he fucked it on his own, so yeah, and Pleasant Snake is still out there. And now he's bottled it completely. You overdid your tires, mate. Yeah, so P3. Feddersen against Andy Andre. Long time no see on the podium for Feddersen. And if oh, wait, maybe my math is wrong. There was a 60. Let's check together. There was a 64-point gap. And the next race, after the next race, there's 78 points remaining inside that pool. So when Andy finishes third or fourth, that's fine, because then the gap would go up by 10, which was 74, or 12, 76. If he finishes 6 or lower, the thing is over. If it's P5, then it's tied, but then Andy needs to win every other race, and then still has not enough wins for the season. Critica has overtaken Chaza. We are still watching. Oh, and there's been a hit to the wall by Kacho. Just found some pace back. And that is a huge blow. Huge blow here. As Pleasant Snake has finally pitted. No, he has not. He's still behind. He has not. What is he doing? VCARB as well as IPNF. Their strategy is all wrong today, and Chaza is once again back into P1. Don't be mad at me because I'm missing these. These are just plain boring DRS overtakes. And they're just gonna keep it like this until the end of the race. So I'm interested to see what happens here. Because if they continue to battle, the gap inside this midfield is going down faster than for the front two. Because the front two certainly make it look like they're more and more. Is Pleasant Snake unaware that he still needs to pit? I don't get this strategy, man. Just like in Miami, I'm so confused. And this hurts a lot when you watch a driver you sympathize with who you're friends with, and he just does this. Andy will have the better tires soon, despite their age. And Quincy is still going strong. Jack has no chance of catching Fellison. And Fellison has dropped already outside that DRS window. As now we see a three-way fight with Changyok, no Seaborn Pleasant Snake, who was hitting the back once again. And Shaza has been re-overtaken by critical damage. If Feddersen would have pitted again, I think there was still enough time to pass all of these guys. Now look at him now. What are these gaps? 5.9, so probably 23. Yeah, you still would have come before this group and then had time to retake these positions. Yeah, I'm not sure what to say anymore for Pleasant, honestly. 5 more laps to go. Was he hoping for a safety car the whole day? Not sure, but he made his team come off worse now because he's gonna be ahead of Kacha, but only getting 1 point. Maybe the fastest lap if he's faster than Kacha, who will also attempt to do the fastest lap run now, as he has been on the outlap after the last pit stop where he also changed his wing. And Shazas once again into P1. 6 laps to go, as we see Quincy is inside of the DRS window for Kovatska. Has opened the flap in the rear wing and is blasting down the Las Vegas Strip with 348 kph. Was thinking about a move, but it did not work out, and now Pleasant Snake is fighting Nusib on the outside for turn 14. Still has to make a pit stop. His tires are still holding on. Okay, you can see it here. I'm so confused what this strategy is. Is there a pass? Oh, another fight here. Kacha with the fastest lap now. 32.7. On the outside is the V-Cup and into P8. Just before turn 7. And Critic is now re-overtaking Shaza. And they are boosting themselves away from Andy Andre, who has cleared Fellison for some time now. So assume the tires were only good for like 11 laps. Because his are now 14 and they've dropped up significantly. His only critical damage is the one car that has not changed his position, so far at least. When you look at how and where it started. To be honest with you, whoever is in second at the start of the last lap should be having it. Quincy has quickly overtaken Kovatska. Has already pulled a second of a gap. And might be looking for the drive of the day performance. 10 places gained for the moment. Would be huge points for a team that needs them so much. And is currently scoring with both cars in a good, solid way. But you have to say that John Meister, that John Meister had done that before he started to drop off and not showing up. Nikacha has retired in the pit lane, and that means we only have 10 drivers remaining. Still waiting for Pleasant's next pit stop. As we start to lap 23. I don't don't know what's going on here. I think he needs to pit now to beat the fastest lap anyway, so... I don't get why he just did not pit at the halfway mark. Huh? Still not. Still nothing. What is this strategy? I don't get it. Is the game fucking with me? He's... Hard to tell if the tires are worn because there's no abrasions. I wish the tire model was updated. Yeah, so Snake is currently about to be disqualified for not using the right amount of tire. Oh, and no Sibo has fucked it. But we are too late into the race for another safety car. As Shaza has to watch out not to lose the DRS now, as everyone has split it up more and more. Oh, Sibo, you only needed to bring it home for a point. And now you have nothing! Nothing. Shaza has all of the cards in his hand now. Oh, Kovaska to the inside line. Quincy fell asleep on the wheel, did not see that coming. And Pleasant Snake is finally into the pit lane. I don't get what kind of strategy that is. Yeah, you still have the last lap for fastest lap, but... Why just not pit earlier and gain time back? Why not? I don't get it. I'm so upset and disappointed. This was like the prime opportunity to take some good points away. Even to jump some people. Williams especially. Obviously there's no money involved in this, but like treat it like a competition, as there's now been a lockup from Kovatska and Quincy settles off for what is probably going to be a 6th place finish. The last lap of this 12th race of the season has now been opened up. We have roughly 6 kilometers left to go and one prime passing opportunity for Chaza. He needs to make sure that Kritiker is not getting away with any of the shenanigans. Is there? I just thought there was some rain. That would be crazy. I was dripping. Okay, he did not get away on this part of the track. But he needs to make sure he is within a certain distance to make this his maiden win. There's a 6/10 gap. That is currently just enough, maybe. Let's see what Chaza can do. Can he take the win away from Critical on the final lap? The braking zone is closing in. He's not there. He cannot make a move. But there's a second part now. And he has a DS. He has an ES advantage. But the straight is short. And Critical has all the right to defend. It is enough once again for the Ferrari. He takes victory just in front of a fantastic drive from Chaza, who just could not complete his maiden victory stance. Andy Andre on the podium once again, with Fallison finishing it off in 4th position. Jack spun on the exit of the last chicane, but will bring it home And Quincy also received a 3-second time penalty. And Kowalska has spun it. So he still stays in 6th position. This race is just everything. Despite only 9 people finishing. Crankyork. What the fuck? What the fuck? Crankyork over the line now, and there's now Pleasant Snake, who's probably gonna steal the fastest lap away at the end. He does so. And Jack is officially the driver of the day. I would still give that to Quincy. Critica in front of Chaza, in front of Andy Andre. Another big win. Today is the... I need to skip that before we don't see the end. Critical damage with yet another win in the season. I think the 7th? Might be. Chaza with this 2nd place of the season. And there's Andy Andre finishing off that Romanian sandwich with a Brit in between. Fellison, then Jack. Quincy. Jack went at 4 positions. Quincy 7. 10. Kowalska 7th. Crankyork 8. Pleasant Snake. Interesting strategy. I have no words for this. No Sibo crash. No points. Catcher. Frankie as well as Bosnian. Control. GR as well as Supermax. And that has been race 12, and we will be heading for some post-race interviews now to see what the drivers think of this. And let me think about someone I want to interview as well. Yeah, good question. Next question. Honestly, no idea. I'll check. Okay, quick break, and then we're back for some interviews. Stay tuned. We are back for some drivers' interviews for this race from Vegas, round 12 of 15 for season 5, and it's once again Critical Damage who takes another win in this championship journey. And that was obviously quite easy to defend there at the end. There was no real chance Chaza could have a go at you into the chicane there at the end of the main straight. So obviously a lot of trading of the positions, some safety cars in between, and you needed to be on it to win it. How was the race from your perspective?
Yeah, indeed. As you said, a lot of changing of positions. But honestly, I had no idea Chaza pitted for hard until lap 20, when I thought that it would be a little bit late for him to pit. So only at that point I realized that he's a threat for victory. But yeah, indeed, I just saw that. A couple of laps before the end, he stopped switching positions. So logically, he was harvesting energy, and then so did I. So at the end, I just made sure that I have enough battery for the last straight.
Yeah, pole position you already, and have you also in the past clinched again on the final attempt there? How happy were you with your qualifying pace in general? Was that just enough for you to squeeze out of the lap, or were you just still leaving some percentages out there on the track just to make sure you don't invalidate it or crash it into the wall?
Actually, I'm not happy at all. I think out of all my propositions this year, this one was the worst one because I was 8 tenths away from my personal best.
Oh,
So
gee, okay.
I was quite surprised that it was enough for Paul, but yeah, luckily for me, I think the guys made a few mistakes, so I could get it with 30.6. But yeah, quite far away from my personal best, so not entirely happy.
Yeah, on to the next street circuit. Two remaining before we head into the finale in Brazil. You have now made another step closer to clinching out the World Championship before Andy cannot reach you mathematically. What do you think about the Baku City circuit, and what do you think is possible there?
Uh, Actually, it's a weird track. I didn't really race a lot on it in the previous games as well, so I'm not sure what to expect. A lot of walls and castle sections, so I think it will actually be a race where consistency matters most and not really the pace. But let's see, maybe some rain will change things up, spice things up, and make it more interesting.
Okay, we'll keep an eye out for what you can do next time in Baku, and wishing you the best of luck, and see you in 7 days' time.
Thanks. Bye bye.
Bye bye. Second place, Charles was not here, so we move on to the second guy on the podium, who's Romanian, and once again, it's Andy Andre from Mercedes, who has had a good race tonight. Third place, Andy. That must have been a good shout, battling with Ellison after the safety reset, who eventually lost out to the tires, to be honest. So there was nothing more really you can do, because that obviously cost a lot of time. Do you think your pace without being maybe stuck in battles would have been better to catch the top two, or were you just out of position because of safety cars and everything?
Well, first of all, congratulations to Critical and Chaz. I think they showed both pace, and even without my battle with Fellowson, I'm not sure I could have caught them. And yeah, outside of that, it was a good race. I had an incident with Control when he locked up in front of me, and he locked the rears and went sideways, and I went into him and broke my front wing. So to be able to come out with the podium after that, I have to be happy.
Yeah, wanted to ask you about that, because that wasn't really viewable from the perspective I got from the camera. I saw Control locking up. He basically hit the rear of of critical there as well, but just by a tiny bit, and then the camera showed him out of bounds of the check. Did you just hit him and then he spun around hitting the wall because of that, or what happened there at the moment from your perspective? Because I couldn't really see that.
As I remember it, he locked the rears in the braking zone, and he went sideways, and I was too. It was too late to avoid him. I couldn't do really anything about it. But I don't think I had to do anything to do with his pin, because once we made contact, he was already sideways on the track. I just couldn't avoid hitting him because the walls were very close.
Okay.
So yeah, no, I don't think I can be blamed for that at all. Honestly, I had another incident with Kacha a few laps later, when I touched him from behind, and he spun, but it was in a very unusual place in the turn 8, I think it is, chicane. We were supposed to be full throttle there, and the gap was like half a second, and he just went off the throttle for some reason. I don't know why, and I touched him from behind, and he spun. And that's why in the end I was trying really hard to pull a 5-second gap to Fellowson, just in case I came out wrong of that incident. But yeah, I hope it's not the case.
Yeah, we'll just see. But based on what I saw, I don't think so. But I just wanted to get more insight on how that collision went down. Yeah, looking ahead, obviously you're gonna be having some practice for Baku tomorrow, and we will be racing there in 7 days' time. What do you think is possible? Have you raced the track more than critical things here, or do you still see some practice to be needed to make sure that you can be in the top fight for the podium once again?
Oh well, it will be my first race in Baku on this game. I did some time trials yesterday, and I think I kind of got the hang of it. It's not a very difficult track once you get used to the braking. It's trail braking. It's really important there. You have to come off the brakes just right in order to be able to turn the car in. It's kind of a technical track. But yeah, I'm well as confident as I can be in this league, considering the some of the guys are usually very fast here.
Okay, then we keep an eye out for you as well as per usual and see what you can do when we head to Baku in 7 days' time. Once again,
Thank
thank you
you. See
very
you
much for
there.
your interview and see you next time.
Yeah, see you. Bye.
Bye. And now on to Williams driver Jack, who finished today in P5. Yeah, so Jack, we just had a Williams win last time out in Monza, and after that, Moksha unfortunately needed to retire from the end of the season. Before we head into a talk about today's race, what do you think is now your main focus ahead when you look at the Constructors' World Championship? Everyone seems to be fighting for positions. Everyone is looking tight in the midfield and top of the standings in terms of who can clinch it at the end of Brazil. How do you think, and what do you think is possible in terms of this Constructors' World Championship?
Yeah, I think it's impossible for us to win now. I think I need to double check, but I don't think it's possible. So really just, get as many points as we can and try and finish second if we can. Again, it's going to be difficult without Moscow for the last race, but yeah, just going to put as many points as I can and see what the results come out as.
Yeah, talking about points then, today Vegas you scored 10 and you had some work before you after that. Not sure if you had another incident or if the wing change was set to no, but you needed to do an extra pit stop and go again for some positions lost, and obviously that hard tire on that last safety car helped you to go to the end. A bit of a up and down roller coaster, just a good start, and after that it went a bit sideways in terms of progress for you. How do you reflect on the first opening laps?
Yeah, lack of planning to start with, so and then sort of no practice, and then strategy was all wrong. So I picked up damage in the first corner, first lap. Got the safety car, came in, didn't change my wing, so I had to come in and change it again, and then ended up on the wrong tire. So yeah, just a bad strategy all around, really.
Yeah, good thing there was another full safety car to help you out with that. Overall, you made some moves early on and tried to go and get after what was initially the fight for P3. Just out of breath there at the end, or do you think you made too many mistakes and you went really on your top game today?
Yeah, I think the lack of planning put me a step behind. But I think if I'd have got the tire, if I didn't get if the wing had changed the first time around, then I would have been on the same strategy as Chazza. So I'd have been up there in position wise. Whether I would have held it, we'll never know. But yeah, it's just a bit of poor planning, really.
Yeah, next 3 races are gonna involve 2 more street circuits, including next week's Baku Grand Prix. But what is your personal goal for the rest of the season? Obviously, your teammate beat you to the first win of the team for this season. What do you think is possible in terms of the tracks you still have ahead of you? Do you like one in particular? Do you just hate all of them? What is one thing you want to achieve at the end of the season here?
These are some of my favourite tracks coming up. I actually really like Vegas as well, but it was the lack of planning that let me down, really. But if I can get some practice in, Baku and Brazil are one of my favourite 2 tracks. So yeah, should do well. So if I can get on the podium, I'll be very happy.
Okay, then wishing you the best of luck for this. Hopefully adventures next 3 races, and see you in 7 days' time.
Thank you.
And that has been it for today's Vegas Grand Prix race 12 out of 15 for Season 5 in NSA Pro. And if you want to see this in 7 days once again for Baku, then make sure you leave this channel a follow. If you want to see more of the current season, all of the race VODs uploaded to No Stabilizers Allowed on YouTube. Just give them a follow there and check out some of the previous races. And in 7 days' time, we're to Baku, as well as Real Formula 1 does on Sunday. Hope you enjoyed it. Have a good rest of your day and a good start to tomorrow. See you next time. Goodbye.